What's up guys, TopTierYugioh here, and today I have a brand new Subterror deck profile for you guys, ready to go and update it for link format. And this is sort of a Subterror Zoodiac True King deck, and it sounds crazy, but all the engines work together really well. There's a lot of synergy, and so I think you guys are going to really like this one. So let's go ahead and get into it. And so first we have 3 Subterror Nemesis Archer. And so this is the main player in the deck. This is our main way of summoning our behemoth monsters. So we can destroy this with our Zodiac cards like Barrage and Drident, or we can also destroy it with True King Lithosagem. And that's going to allow us to summon our behemoths, and then if we have Hidden City or Final Battle, we can flip them and do all of our favorite Subterror things. Next we have 3 Subterror Fiendus. This is what really made the deck so much better after Maximum Crisis. And it's unfortunate that it didn't get more like press and more screen time after Maximum Crisis. The show kind of got stolen by True Dracos and Zodiacs, but Subterror Fiendus is a really good card. Like the ability to just negate your opponent's cards as well as summon your behemoths from the hand or graveyard. It fixed a lot of the deck's problems. And so we only play one Nemesis Warrior because I want to not play too many Subterror monsters, but at the same time Nemesis Warrior works very well within your Zodiac combos, and it's also good if you have any other type of monster on your field. So like if you have like literally any other monster, this is super good to have, and you want it in your graveyard as well. As for the behemoths, we only play 5. We have 2 Stalagmo, 2 Umastrix, and then 1 Voltelluric. And so I wanted to cut down on the behemoth monsters because I mean, they're just big flip monsters. Like, you don't want to play a lot of them, obviously. And so I only played the ones that are necessary. So, like, Voltelluric is good for your rank 9 plays. Umastrix is like your removal. And Stalagmo gives you more cards. And so, I didn't want to play anything else. Like, I could have played Style Kraken, but I don't think backwards is a big deal. Ultramophis is big, but I mean, that's about all it does. I don't really need to flip them face down. I think Umastrix does the same thing, but better in a lot of cases because it banishes. And so I just really felt that these were all you needed for the behemoth monsters. I did want to play Phosphor Glacier though, because you can send things to the graveyard, but I'm not playing Glow Up Bulb in this build, and so I didn't quite find it necessary without it. But if you are playing Glow Up Bulb in that combo, then Phosphor Glacier is a great card to play. For the rest of the monsters, we have 3 Lithosagem, also level 9 like Voltelluric. It destroys Archer, so it helps you summon your behemoths out of your deck. And then at the same time, it helps you make rank 9 plays and other plays like that, because you can also distribute this with Nemesis Warrior, and that comes up a lot as well. For the Zodiac Engine, we have 2 Rats, 2 Ramrams, and 1 Whiptail. I like 2 Ramram now because I am playing the 3 Lithosagem, and so there are really just a lot of plays you can do with these. And so something I really like to do is if I can have like a Ramram in hand, like late game, and have a Zodiac card in the graveyard and an Archer on the field, you can just plus so hard off of Lithosagem, get the effect. It's really insane. There are so many combos in this deck that you can do that it makes it a lot of fun to play, really. And then the final monsters we play are 3 Gofus and 1 Maxi. And so the Gofus serve multiple roles. And so the first thing the Gofus allow you to do is, of course, summon your Decode Talker. But the other thing that it lets you do is that you can tribute the Gofu with Nemesis Warrior. So if you have a Hidden City, you can get the Nemesis Warrior. You play 6 Hidden Cities. So it's really easy to get the Gofu in Nemesis Warrior. And it's going to let you summon any of your behemoth monsters. Well, except for Stalagmo. So you can summon at least Ultramophis and Voltelluric. So still, this opens up a lot of plays for you. Again, it helps you get to your link monsters. So Gofu I like a lot right now. And then Maxi is of course obvious. For the spell cards, we have 6 Hidden Cities, 3 Hidden City, 3 Terraformings. We want to see this card in literally every single game, every single hand. I always want to have Hidden City. And even after activating 1 Hidden City, I want to activate another one. Like, I just want to see this card so much. I think you have to play the maximum number of copies. Another option would be to actually play set rotation, but because it is a hard once per turn, there's like a limit. There's a limit to how many you want to play, and it's definitely above 6, but it's not quite 9, and it isn't worth playing like another field spell that you would have to play set rotation. Like, you could play Diagram, but I found Diagram to not be super useful in this deck because of like, if you're destroying something to activate Diagram, then you're probably destroying your Archer. And if you do that, then you're losing Archer for the Lithosagem that you're going to search. And so it's really hard to resolve both Lithosagem and Diagram in the same turn. So I didn't like that with set rotation. It had to be something else. Next, we have 3 Zodiac Barrage. Again, obvious for if you're playing any type of Zodiac deck, but it also triggers your Archer, which is one of the main reasons why we play this type of Subterror deck. Then next we have 2 Instant Fusions. You can summon Invoked Raijin to summon any of our behemoths out of our hand. So this works really well if you have a hand of like Instant Fusion and Hidden City. because with Hidden City you could search any of your behemoths, then with Instant Fusion you search Raijin, flip it face down, and then summon the behemoth that you searched. And so if you search the Stalagmo, this is essentially like a pot of greed if you have another Subterror monster in your hands. And the final spell card we play is 1 Raigeki. For the traps, we only play 4. We play 2-dimensional barriers and then 2 Subterror Final Battle. Final Battle, like Fiend, this is just really good in this deck. It solves all of your problems. I mean, it flips your monsters face up, face down, and makes them big. I mean, what more could we ask for? And then Dimensional Barrier, I felt like I just wanted a little bit more defense in the deck. Because Final Battle, you have to have a Subterror to really use, but I wanted more just generalized defense. And I felt that this was maybe one of the more versatile cards. And even though True Dracos are really popular right now, I think True Draco Zoo is also really popular. And so stopping half of their deck it's worth it. I couldn't think of anything better. Maybe Strikes, but this stops their turn. So I just think it's more powerful. The first card that I side deck is actually True King of Calamities. I couldn't make space for it in the extra deck, so I'm siding it. And I mean, it really came down to like, this was the 15th or 14th card. And I just had to choose other cards over it. But I still think that this is good in certain matchups. So like if I'm playing against Zoodiacs, I think this is a great matchup. But if I'm playing against True Dracos, I think it's very hard to actually utilize this because, I mean, they can just out it so easily. And then they can just destroy it with like a trap or something. Versus like against Zoodiacs, a lot of times you're just stopping their whole engine. And Drident's their main way of outing things on the board anyways. Next we have 2 Cosmic Cyclones for True Dracos and anything that plays a lot of traps. I mean, True Dracos don't play traps, but it's good against them. We have 3 Kaijus, and I chose these 3 specifically because this is a level 9, so if I do side in the True King of Calamities, this is really good if I summon it to my side of the field. And then I like both of these because of their attributes, because if you're playing against Invoked and they summon the Water Fusion, it's actually really hard to get over. And so the Earth one and the Wind one I don't quite mind too much. And like, this is 2400 attack and Messio's 2200 attack. It never comes up to where you have something that's in the middle, because like all of your behemoths either have like less than 2000, or I'm sorry, less than 2200 or more than 2200. Like Stalagmo's 28, and then Ultramophis is 2000. So it really didn't come up to where the attack was like big. And this also has less defense, so if they turn Gamesio to defense, it's really hard to get around. But they turn this to defense, it's not that bad. Next we have 2 Dark Holes. And so these were slumbers, but I got tired of getting my slumber ashed, and so I switched them for Dark Holes. But Dark Hole is really good for entering boards, and it also can trigger your Archer. And so you can just summon Archer, Dark Hole, and then get another Subterror monster from your deck. So Dark Hole is sort of like an extender, but also like a board clearer. So it's really good. It serves multiple roles, and you always want cards that serve multiple roles in your deck. Next we have Imperial Order, really good against a lot of decks. One of my favorite traps of all time, Mirror Force. Again, I wanted more defense in certain matchups, and I think that Mirror Force it's not only defensive, but it helps you play a lot of mind games, and I thought that that was very valuable, because once your opponent sees 1 Mirror Force, they're going to be afraid to attack over anything the rest of the game as long as you have a face down. So it really allows me to play less defense, but play as if I had more, because I know my opponents are going to play around it. Like, you have to respect Mirror Force. And then finally, we play 3 Ghost Ash, and then 1 Ghost Ogre. And so I know that this is weird, and this probably could be 2 Ghost Ogres, 2 Ghost Ash, but I felt that Ash was just better right now. But then I also wanted 4 hand traps, and so I thought that this was a really good ratio. For the extra deck, we have 1 Decode Talker, 2 Link Spiders. I really like these. I mean, you need to have the Link Spiders to make the Decode Talker, obviously, but I like Decode Talker a lot because when it's big, and this deck has a problem making big monsters, like your biggest thing normally in the main deck is 28, and that's Stalagmo. So this gives you, for one, a big monster, but also it protects them from targeting, and I thought that that was actually very valuable in a format where Zoodiacs and True Dracos are so popular, because you can stop them from destroying the trap, you can stop them from destroying your monsters, you can protect Hidden City, like you can protect anything from targeting. I think that that's just a very valuable effect. And another option was to make Mrs. Radiant, and I don't actually have a Mrs. Radiant yet, so this is a proxy, and my printer ran out of ink, so, you know, excuse the ugly proxy. But so the thing with Mrs. Radiant versus Decode Talker is that you can make them almost in the same way, but Mrs. Radiant only allows you to pretty much summon from the extra deck. Like, it doesn't do anything else. I mean, sure, when it's into the graveyard, you can get a monster back, and that's valuable for Fiendus and other Subterrors maybe, but that's it. Versus Decode Talker, which literally protects your board and serves another important role for the deck, something that the deck needed. And so it's really sort of a trade-off. And then when it comes to when they're actually good, it's like Decode Talker is best when you have Gofu and then like some other like power plays. So if you have like a Fiendus in Gofu, or if you have Barrage or a Zodiac monster in Gofu, it's really good. But Mrs. Radiant was really only good, I felt like, because it was only good when I could summon more monsters from the extra deck, it was only good if I had like Fiendus Barrage, because I could Fiendus summon another Subterror and make misses, and then Barrage and play with 2 link zones. But the same thing is good with Decode Talker. Like if I have Gofu and then Barrage, that's also good. So I just felt like Decode Talker was better in more situations. It solved more of the deck's problems, and so that's why I went with this over the Nemesis Radiant. The only thing bad about Decode Talker is it gives your opponent a link zone, but you know, I'm kind of okay with that. But really, actually, let me know what you guys think would be the better link monster to play. I'll put a poll in the top right corner of the screen. Let me know if I should be playing Decode Talker or Nemesis Radiant. Next we have one Invoked Raijin for the instant fusion. Once again, this is really good because you can summon it, then flip it face down, and that's going to let you summon your other behemoths from your hand. So Invoked Raijin is sort of necessary, and then if it stays on the board, then it's just a really good defensive monster. Like you're stopping your opponent's plays. It's very good. So if you can have like this, and then really any other defensive play, like if you have this, you can summon a Umastrix and have a final battle, your opponent's going to have a tough time playing through that. Or if you have a barrier set, that's going to give you another free turn guaranteed, in which case you could flip it and then use it defensively. And for the Zodiac Xyz monsters, we play 1 Borbo, 1 Hammer Kong, 1 Tiger Mortar, 2 Shakanine, 2 Broad Bull, and 2 Drident. Sorry for the proxy, I think I loaned out my other Drident, and so 2 Dridents though. And then the last couple of Xyz monsters we play are 1 Abyss Dweller and then 1 Daigusto Emerald. So the Emerald is definitely necessary, but the Dweller is where I really had a lot of angst in what to play. So I wasn't sure if I should play the Dweller or the True King of all Calamities, and this really came down to matchups to where I felt that Dweller was really good against True Dracos, and it was kind of decent versus like everything else. Like of course you have like random matchups where it's good, but then True King of Calamities was sort of good against those random matchups, but not very good against True Dracos. And so it was sort of like a trade-off between, am I playing for the best deck or am I playing for everything else? And so ultimately I chose to sort of choose the card that was best against the best deck, and they're both relatively easy to summon, except you can only make this with a Lithosagem, but you play 3 of them. But you can make this with like any zoo card, and you play like 9 of them. So this is, I guess, slightly easier to make, but at the same time this isn't hard to make. So it was a really tough choice between which one the main deck. And again, I'll put a poll in the top right corner of the screen. Let me know which of these should be in the main deck, which one should be in the side deck. I had a really tough time choosing, and I think a lot of times it's gonna depend on your local meta. But for me, Dweller just made a little bit more sense. Well, alright guys, this has been my Subterror deck profile. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. If you have any other requests for decks that you would like to see, again, leave them down in the comment section. I'd really appreciate it. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Remember that time, those cerulean tides, sapphire, a sapphire.